Alright guys, I just want to show you a quick little hack for making your XMAXX shock towers last a little longer than normal. So basically what I do is I put a washer, as you can see, on the top part of the shock tower here, because I've actually had this screw pull through, and it's usually it doesn't break and you can push it back, but it's a real pain in the ass if it happens in the field. So just put a little washer on that screw there. And then another thing I do here, I've just got the light here trying to show you, is I put a little piece of Kydex and I contact cement it down on the bottom here on both sides. And I'm using Kydex, but you can use pretty much any durable plastic that glue will stick to. And what I do is I take a little diamond file and I rough it up in here a little bit. Then I clean it out with alcohol, rubbing alcohol and a rag. And I'm going to do the same thing to this little piece of Kydex. I'm just basically going to rough it up, and then we're going to glue it in place here. And it'll last. It'll still break, but you'll go through way less shock towers doing this. It'll last probably 4 or 5 times as long than if you didn't have it in. So I'll do this really quickly, show you how I do it. And it's to prevent this essentially. This one was done, but I had some major crashes in here, and it finally let go. But I mean, it took a lot of abuse before it finally let go, and that happened. If I didn't have this done, this shock tower would have been done on the first or second big hit that I had. So we're just gonna get this glued up, and I'll kind of show you how it works. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But basically, we're just gonna rough up the plastic to give the contact cement something to stick to. And I'm gonna put a couple deep scratches in here. And I've basically trimmed these to fit flush in the shock tower. Once again, this is Kydex, but you can use anything, any durable plastic that's flexible, because it will flex. And I've tried different glues, and I've had the best success with contact cement, just because contact cement is very flexible, so it tends to work pretty good. So once again, I'm just gonna scratch it up. I'm just using a little diamond file here. We'll rough it up like this. We'll just get this cleaned off with some rubbing alcohol here. Hold on. All right. I like to cut these up so you don't have to use a whole rag. I go through a lot of shop towels here, so basically, sorry about the fan noise as well. So basically, we're just roughed it up with the diamond file, as good as you can, and then I'm going to put some cross hatches with this little file here, just to give the glue something to stick to. Now we're just going to give it a little wipe with rubbing alcohol. I've already wiped the inside of this down and done the same thing to this. Now I don't put deep scratches on this side because I want it to still be as strong as it can be. And basically, we're just going to wipe it down. It's a little tedious, but it's less tedious than taking your whole shit apart and having to put new shock towers in. So, you know, like I said, it'll save you time in the long run. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it will save you time, because you won't have to be replacing shock towers as frequently. And you might have a better type of material than I do for this, but this has been working pretty good. You can use sandpaper too, but I'm lazy, so let's get some nice deep gouges in here. Give that glue something to stick to pretty good. There we go. Just give it a wipe with rubbing alcohol. Stem this up. This, there we go. That's a little better. Sorry about the lighting. The shop's a mess right now. I got a lot of maintenance going on right now. I'm just gonna give this one more quick wipe, just to get the last little stuff clean. Once again, don't go deep on the shock towers with your scratches, just enough that the contact cement has something to hold on to. So now we're going to, I'm just gonna take a little scrap piece of Kydex, and I'm gonna wipe this off with rubbing alcohol as well. This is what we're gonna use to actually spread the glue in the shock tower. Now, the way this contact cement works is I apply it to this piece and I apply it to that piece. I let it dry slightly till you can touch it without it sticking on your finger, and then you stick it in and press it together, and it bonds pretty instantly. So they're side specific just because I've trimmed them to match this shape here. So I gotta make sure I don't forget which side's which. But by doing this, yeah, I've noticed that it lasts quite a bit longer than if I hadn't done it. I go through a lot of parts here, so kind of try to make hacks, not to save money so much, but to save time, because this is all time consuming to have to rebuild rigs constantly, and anywhere I can save time, you know, is a good thing. So we're just going to apply as much, we want to be fairly liberal with it. You want it to be shiny. If you're using contact cement, you don't want to have a dull look. And then we're just going to let that dry. Try not to let anything touch it while it's drying. And do this to both sides, and then we're going to get some inside the shock towers as well. I've tried Shugu, I've tried a bunch of other different glues, but this one seems to work the best. So I'm just going to put this one on this side, that one on that side. And now we'll spread it inside the shock tower. The XMAXX took quite a beating the other day when we were out. Well, just in general, I mean, I beat it up pretty hard, so we'll get this done here. You want it to be shiny, like I said. If it's dull, then you got to put more on. You got to let it dry a bit and then put more on. I'm fairly liberal with it, and you don't have to worry about making a mess, because you know these are going to be toast by the time we're done anyway. So okay, that's that side. Now you just gotta let it sit for about 5 minutes. Zoe, come here. Sorry, my dog and my cat don't get along, and they have been in a feud since they were both babies. And anytime my dog has a chance to mess with the cat, or vice versa, they always take up on the opportunity to do so. So yeah, as soon as this dries, it's still going to be shiny. It's still going to look wet. But if it does look dull in any areas, you know, apply some more. I see one dull area on this one right here. I'm just going to put a little spatula more on. And it will kind of self-level on itself, so you can be fairly liberal with it. There we go. That's it. Let those pieces dry, and then we'll stick them in and push down on it for a couple seconds, and that's it. And we'll throw them in the truck. I'm guessing I'm probably gonna have to do a bulkhead. I'm just doing a little rebuild on the XMAXX. It's time to replace those front shock towers. I'll probably have to do a front bulkhead on that one. The XRT's all up into shape right now. I ended up breaking a CB shaft and pin for the CB shaft, so I had to replace that. Thought it was my center diff, but it wasn't. Luckily, it was some pretty easy repairs. Locked tight down some motor screws, and she's back in action. I have one bent front right shock that I'm going to rebuild tonight and rebend back. I need to get a solution for that. I need some thicker shock shafts for that one, for the XRT. And the XMAXX is good to go. Throw these shock towers in, and we'll be heading back out to the pit probably tomorrow to do some road gapping. But But anyways, we're just about done here. As soon as it's not sticky anymore, guys, like as soon as it won't stick to paper, that's how you know when the contact cement is done. See, it's still a little too sticky, but it doesn't take that long, you know, 5-10 minutes. So we'll come back and we'll throw this in when it's ready to go. All right, guys, it's dry enough that we can put it in now. So you want to be able to just touch it. Make sure your hands aren't greasy, but you want to be able to touch it without it being sticky. It's just a little tacky. So I'm just going to use some tweezers to put it in. This one on this side is going to be a little tight because I made it a little snug. Oh, that was bad. Let's see. You should be able to get it in there. Alright, now I'm just going to take the back end, push it down and in. Let's actually use a screwdriver and give it a good squish down. Wipe off any excess. Doesn't really matter, it's going to dry pretty good. I'm going to do it on the other side as well. Same deal. Oh, this is the tight side. Yeah, I made it a little too tight. But I'm going to get it in there. Alright, just push it down really good. And then, you know, give it a couple hours. I like to give it overnight to set up and cure properly. And it's going to be much stronger because usually this will bust through. It always cracks in this area here when you're bashing hard. So it'll still break, but it's going to last a lot longer in between breaks, guys. So it's a nice little, quick little hack for you guys. Make your shock towers last a little longer. And don't forget to put your washer up here. So give me Super Crash. I'm out. We'll see you at the pit. And I got a couple other hacks for you guys coming in the next few days. Peace out.